Guys, I want to apologize in advance if my eyeball pops out like I'm a Pekingese. It's only because I've been spending a whole lot of time looking at stats for hours. That's the bad news. The good news is I think I might have found out some interesting things. What I was trying to discover is what is the best lineup that the Knicks have put forward this season. I've been looking mostly at what lineups have been working in the game since Bargnani went down, since Bargnani's probably not going to come back this season. I wanted to know what we can do now to get us through to the playoffs, hopefully. So the first thing I really focused on was the differential. Basically, how many points more or less is the team making than the other guy when these five guys are out on the court together. And then after that, it was assists, rebounds, points, field goal percentage, turnovers, personal fouls drawn, all that good stuff. So, my favorite lineup so far is Raymond Felton, Pablo Prigioni, J.R. Smith, Carmelo Anthony, and Tyson Chandler. So the first thing to notice is that is a three-guard lineup. And overall, three-guard lineups have been the best performers in the past 9 or 10 games. And this trio of Pablo, Felton, and JR has been the strongest one. And I think that's great news because it makes me really happy to know that the three best guards play really well together. On the downside, of course, is that, guys need to rest. Those three can't play together for the entire 48 minutes. The good news is Tim Hardaway Jr. and Amar'e Murray, to a lesser extent because he just hasn't had as many minutes lately, those two guys are fitting in pretty well most of the time. The thing is, their success seems to depend a great deal upon who the other two guys are out on the court at the time. If you've got some combination of Felton, Smith, Pablo, and Hardaway, for example, it's really good if they've got Melo and Chandler out there. It's really good if they've got Melo and Jeremy Tyler out there. It's really bad if they have Melo and Amar'e Stoudemire out there. But it's very good if they have Amar'e Stoudemire and Jeremy Tyler out there. Which brings me to my second discovery, which is Amar'e does really well when he's out there with Jeremy Tyler. The two of them are making a really, really powerful duo. Amar'e's still doing pretty well, and there's another big guy out there with him, but it's especially good when he's got a little bit more room to maneuver than he does with Kenyon Martin or Chandler, but still has a guy like Tyler. For whatever reason, the two of them are playing really well together. The trouble with Tyler, of course, is that he fouls way too much, and a lot of times they're stupid fouls. They're not like what Kenyon Martin does. He fouls, and he's smart about it. Tyler is just kind of sloppy, so he can't be a starter until he fixes that problem, all right? But it's good to know those two guys can come out in a second unit and be powerful together. Now, another strong starting lineup has been, same one as the first one, Felton, Pablo, Melo, and Tyson, but instead of J.R. Smith, we've got Iman Shumpert in there. The good news is that that's still been a pretty good lineup. The bad news is that's the only lineup that Shumpert has been in that's actually a high-performing lineup. And I'm disappointed by that because I do love Iman Shumpert, but lately, I'm not really that surprised because lately he just hasn't been the same guy as we knew him to be last year. He's spending way too much time, in my opinion, hanging out in the corner waiting for somebody to give him the ball so he can shoot up a three. When he's shooting well, that's not so bad. But when he's not shooting well, it's really bad. And frankly, I'd still rather him have some hustle and try to be doing a little bit more than just shooting up threes. He just hasn't been playing as well. So, should Shump then be working more into the kind of second unit? Well, what I would really like to see is, first of all, I'd like to see how the first unit that I described played with Martin instead of Chandler. Martin's still out, but when he comes back, I still really want to have somebody who can fill in for Chandler. And I'd like my second unit to be Murray, Hardaway, Shumpert, Amar'e, and Tyler. Unfortunately, none of those two lines I just mentioned have ever played together at all for the entire season. So I don't really know how either of them will do. But that's my wish list coming forward. I want to see Felton, Pablo, JR, Mello, and Chandler being the starters. I'd like to see that other group of guys be my second unit. And then I just want to make sure that Amar'e and Tyler are out there together. I think that could be a really big factor going forward. So, let's see if it works. Until next time, this is Sarah Peters, throwing up threes from the 7 train.